Which of these has the least carbohydrates? A roll of bread, a bowl of rice, or a can of soda? It's actually a trick question. Despite their differences in fat content, vitamins, and other nutritional elements, these foods are surprisingly similar when it comes to carbohydrate content. But what does that really mean for your diet? Carbohydrates are a broad nutritional category that includes sugars and the molecules your body breaks down to create sugars. These sugars serve as one of the main sources of energy for the human body, and they appear in many different forms depending on their chemical structure. Carbohydrates can be categorized as either simple or complex based on their molecular makeup. A simple sugar, known as a monosaccharide, includes molecules like glucose, fructose, and galactose. When two simple sugars link together, they form disaccharides, such as lactose, maltose, or sucrose. Meanwhile, complex carbohydrates consist of 3 or more monosaccharides connected in longer chains. These chains can take various forms depending on the number and type of sugars involved. When 3 to 10 monosaccharides link together, they form oligosaccharides, while chains of more than 10 are known as polysaccharides. During the digestive process, your body breaks down these more complex carbohydrates into their simplest form, monosaccharides, which your cells can then absorb and use for energy. Every time you eat a carbohydrate-rich food, the level of sugar in your bloodstream rises, even though your blood normally contains only about a teaspoon of sugar at any given time. However, your digestive system does not treat all carbohydrates the same way. Take starch and fiber, for example. Both are polysaccharides derived from plants and made up of hundreds or even thousands of sugar molecules. Yet, they have very different effects on the body because of how their sugar molecules are bonded together. In starches, which are primarily stored in plant roots and seeds for energy, glucose molecules are connected by alpha linkages that enzymes in your digestive system can easily break apart. Fiber, on the other hand, contains beta bonds that your body cannot digest. Interestingly, fiber can trap some starch molecules, preventing them from being broken down, and this creates what is known as resistant starch. As a result, foods that are high in starch, like crackers and white bread, are digested quickly, causing a rapid release of glucose into the bloodstream. This effect is quite similar to what happens when you consume high-glucose beverages, such as soda. These types of foods are said to have a high glycemic index, which refers to how much a specific food raises your blood sugar levels. So even though soda and white bread may not seem similar at first glance, they have comparable glycemic indices because they produce nearly identical spikes in blood glucose. On the other hand, foods rich in fiber, like vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, digest more slowly thanks to those indigestible beta bonds, and this slower digestion results in a more gradual release of sugar into the bloodstream. These foods, therefore, have a lower glycemic index. Meanwhile, protein-rich foods like eggs, cheese, and meat have the lowest glycemic indices of all. Once glucose moves from the digestive system into the bloodstream, your body must quickly act to move it into cells, where it can be turned into usable energy. This process is regulated by insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas. When you consume food and your blood sugar begins to rise, insulin is secreted into the blood. It then signals your muscle and fat cells to absorb glucose, facilitating the conversion of sugar into energy. The efficiency with which insulin performs this task is referred to as insulin sensitivity. The greater the blood sugar reduction caused by a given amount of insulin, the more sensitive your body is to it. When insulin sensitivity declines, a condition called insulin resistance begins to develop. In this state, the pancreas still produces insulin, but the body's cells, especially muscle cells, become less responsive to it. As a result, blood sugar levels remain elevated, and the pancreas compensates by releasing even more insulin. Consistently consuming high amounts of carbohydrates can contribute to insulin resistance over time, and many researchers believe this condition plays a key role in the development of a more serious health issue known as metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome encompasses a cluster of symptoms, including elevated blood sugar, increased abdominal fat, and high blood pressure. Together, these factors significantly raise the risk of developing major health conditions such as cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Alarmingly, the prevalence of metabolic syndrome is on the rise globally. In the United States alone, it affects an estimated 32% of the population, posing a growing threat to public health. So when it comes to your diet, it's important to recognize that whether a food tastes sweet or not, sugar is still sugar. Excessive carbohydrate intake, regardless of the source, can contribute to long-term health issues. You might want to think twice before indulging in that pasta, sushi roll, pita, burrito, donut, burger, or sandwich, because they all share more in common than you might expect when it comes to carbohydrates. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more simple health tips that make a big difference. And while you're at it, tap the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy and keep smiling.